All right, everybody, with that being said, I want to move on to my favorite part of the show, and everyone knows what that is. It is, of course, gun talk. And today I want to answer a question from a viewer who asked me a very simple question. What is the worst gun you own? Not what's the worst gun made, because, boy, that'd be hard to determine, I think. But what is the worst gun I personally own? Now, I actually had to put a little bit of thought into this. At first, a lot of people probably think I'm going to say, like my FN57 here. Because I do think this gun is kind of ridiculous and kind of not the best gun I've ever carried, that's for sure. But it does have some practical uses. I'm not going to say this gun is useless just because I'm not particularly fond of it or the round it shoots. This gun is carryable. It's a full-size gun that's easy to carry because it's lightweight. It has high capacity. It's a very flat shooting round, a very accurate round, has almost no recoil. It's very easy to shoot. And like I said, you can still carry it because it's light. So this gun has a lot of practical uses. So even though I don't really care for it, it can't be the worst gun I own if it's actually a practical gun. So this couldn't be the answer. This is the worst gun I own. This is the Desert Eagle L5 357 Magnum pistol. Now this gun is, like I said, a Desert Eagle, but it's chambered in 357 Magnum. I almost went with my full-size Desert Eagle in 50 AE as the worst gun I own because it's very impractical, not reliable, but at least it's in a unique caliber, a caliber I don't have in any other gun, the 50 AE. This one is just chambered in 357 Magnum. And it's big, it's heavy, even though it is the lightweight model, the L5, it's still a big, heavy gun. It's bulky. You would never carry this gun. It's sharp. It's got all kinds of sharp edges on it. Just not a pleasant gun to carry, not particularly a pleasant gun to shoot. Because even though it can be fun, it's not reliable. You spend a lot of time at the range clearing jams because that piston system they use is just not good. But it's just not a great gun, period. In fact, the fact that it's just chambered in 357 Magnum and it's so big, it's so bulky, it's so heavy, and it also is expensive. It's almost $2,000 for this gun. It's like $1,800 and something dollars. And then it's chambered in 357 Magnum and it only holds like 9+1 rounds. That's just not enough rounds to make it worth it. If it was a double stack or something, that might be different. But this gun doesn't really have that much more firepower than this gun right here, this 8-shot 357 Magnum. And this gun is much smaller, much lighter, much more pleasant to shoot, definitely more reliable. This is just an all-over better gun. Like I said, just everything about this gun is better than this gun. And they're the same caliber. So why wouldn't you choose the lighter, cheaper, easier to fire, easier to use, more reliable, easier to carry? Why wouldn't you choose this gun over this gun? You would pretty much any day of the week. And that's what makes this gun, the Desert Eagle L5 from Magnum Research, the worst gun I own. It's because it's chambered in 357 Magnum, which is my favorite round. But when it comes to this gun, it's just not practical for the 357. There's no reason to want it. Now, I own it, so I obviously wanted it for some reason, and that's because it's unique. And sometimes you don't have to have a reason to own a gun. Every gun doesn't have to be practical. You just have to like it. It's a why the fuck not gun. And that's what this is for me. That's a why the fuck not gun. So even though it is the worst gun I own, I still love it, or I wouldn't own it. So there you have it. The answer to the question, what is the worst gun I own? It's easily my Desert Eagle 357 Magnum L5.